Joining us now is Colonel Mitchell Swan, who served as a top officer for U.S. Central Command. Colonel, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you both. Thank you very much for having me.
I don't even know where to start with some of that. The Secretary of State, everybody's on the phone with Karzai. It's the president of Afghanistan is Ghani. So that tells you a lot to begin with. But you heard him say just now that when he was asked whether or not the president of the United States knew what was going on, that's a simple question. That's a layup. That the answer is, of course he knows what's going on, and he's got years of foreign policy experience, blah, blah, blah. What does it say that he can't answer the question about whether or not the president's in charge?
All right, so we have a problem from leadership from the get-go with this. I'll agree with one point. It is an emotional time because we have Americans are upset, we have veterans that are angry, and we have Gold Star families that are outraged. And I haven't even gotten to our allies and our coalition partners these past 20 years. When I hear this weekend that they have our deep appreciation for service, they did not fight alongside us for 20 years for our deep appreciation. They fought along us for results, and we got no results from this. We got zero return on investment.
Colonel, Biden has flip-flopped on his own message of planning. First, back in April, he said that there was a plan. We're going to be working with our allies who have said that really wasn't true. And then last week on George Stephanopoulos, he said, actually, this was there was no plan that could have stopped this. It was inevitable that this would have happened. Is that true? And what plans does the military have?
So the military had plans. We always knew we were going to depart from Afghanistan. From 2002 on, right? We've always been planning for that. I think what made this inevitable was when the Biden administration absolutely withdrew the air assets out of Bagram Air Base. With that, they took not only the aircraft that supported them with resupplies in the outer regions for the Afghan ground forces, but they took away ISR, that's intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets. The Afghans have secured their own nation since 2014. But they did that in cooperation with our forces, providing eyes in the sky. That way they could see where the Taliban were going, and they could react to that. In the very first week of July, on July 2nd, this administration removed those assets from Bagram at night and in secret, only for the Afghan base commander to wake up and discover they were all gone. And without those assets, now the Taliban could move undetected and freely, quite frankly, and that was their decision.
Colonel, speaking of assets, the Taliban now has billions of dollars of U.S.-issued weapons, assets that we were supposed to give to the Afghani services there, but those are gone. What kind of impact is that going to have? And also, the State Department keeps saying they don't know, in the Pentagon, they don't know where they are or how much the Taliban actually has. Does that concern you?
Oh, it absolutely concerns me. So from the beginning, in the last few weeks, they overestimated the capabilities of the Afghan forces. At the same time, they undersold us the true capabilities of the Taliban. And now we have given them all of that armament there in country. Now, that's going to really destabilize Afghanistan. Now, I will say that the Taliban absolutely want us out of there. They have an agenda. They've waited for this for 20 years. They can't wait anymore, and they will eagerly get us out of that country.
Colonel, when asked about the threat of ISIS in Afghanistan, here's what National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said on CNN yesterday. Watch this.
The threat is real, it is acute, it is persistent, and it is something that we are focused on with every tool in our arsenal. We will do everything that we can for as long as we are on the ground to keep that from happening.
What is the likelihood that Afghanistan is going back to the same state that we found it before 9/11?
Oh, it's going to be worse than we found it in 9/11. And I think that's what upsets me greatly. If you look at the geography of Afghanistan, it sits north of Pakistan. To its east, it's got China on a very smidgen of its border. And to its west, it has Iran. But it's very important strategically because of the Silk Roads. The Silk Roads were just a network of trading routes that have been around since antiquity. But since we started this battle, we took what were paths and we turned them into roads. We took what were roads and we made them into highways. We've laid rail down for more railroad access for big, heavy things. And that was done in two parts. That was done for us to actually support our troops by bringing in supplies and equipment. But it was always our goal that at the end of this, as Afghanistan grew, they would be able to export goods and minerals from their country and join the world global market. But with our withdrawal now, that infrastructure that we built and put in place will be used by China to go in and get the absolute raw materials, return them to their country, turn them into finished goods, and then use that same Silk Road to go back and then branch out to the Central Asia states, Pakistan's warm water ports, or even Russia.
So concerning to hear. Colonel Swan, thank you so much for your time tonight. We're going to have you back because a lot is still unfolding in Afghanistan and the implications that it means for some of our enemies in the region. So thanks for your time tonight.